and he's the author of the book Gringo: A Coming of Age of a Latin America. And I first saw you in the library back in January, and I just want to say it's an honor for me for you to come on the show because it's been a long time, and I know we've been trying to make this happen for some time now, but I'm glad it happened, and I'm glad you're on the show. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. It's a real pleasure to be here. I appreciate you inviting me on the show, and I'm glad we could set it up, make it happen.
Thank you. Now, first of all, before I get to your book, now what does gringo mean? Does that mean white boy?
Right. So this is one of the interesting things I talk about in the book because a lot of us we hear the word gringo and we think it's like offensive word. They're talking trash. Somebody's insulting us. But actually, it turns out that the word is used in a lot of different ways in different parts of Latin America. A lot of times it's used as a term of affection. Just a way to say, hey, you're somebody who's not like the rest of us. You're different. You're from outside. You're a foreigner. But it could be a very nice way of referring to somebody whose name you don't know. Or maybe even somebody whose name you do know, but it's just like a nickname.
Okay.
The origin of the word, which I described briefly in the introduction to the book, is actually from in ancient Castilian, Spanish dialect. The word first appears in old Spanish dictionaries as a bastardization of the word for Greek.
Okay. So you embark in this experiment journey that you did?
Well, it wasn't I didn't set out originally to travel to every Latin American country to spend years in Spanish-speaking parts of the world. Originally, I just was a high school kid. I finished high school, and before I went to college, I wanted to try to really learn to speak Spanish well. So I headed off to Guatemala. They have cheap language schools. It's not that far away. Me, to be honest, to be fair to my teachers, because I know some of them might be watching. You were great. You were great. But I think when I was in school, I wasn't the best student. I didn't always apply myself.
Okay. Speaking to your bio family, was there ever times that you were kind of frustrated because you were going to the prison speaking? Like, did you ever just say, I just want this all to end?
I think I certainly want it to end now. I want my dad to come home. I mean, my mom got out on parole in 2003. She did 22 years. My dad has now done 29 years. And yeah, I definitely want it to end in the sense that, I wish I didn't have to go through a metal detector every time I want to give him a hug.
Yeah.
He's a senior citizen. He's an old man. He's not a threat to anybody.
Now, you stated in your book, why were they incarcerated?
My parents were incarcerated out of a a robbery with a group called the Black Liberation Army that came out of the Civil Rights Movement in the 1960s and 70s. Were kind of a more militant split off of the Black Panther Party.
Okay.
And my parents were playing a support role for that group in a robbery, an armored car robbery.
Okay.
To raise money for that group's political activities. Yep. And it was a robbery that went terribly wrong and tragically left 3 men dead. One of them a security guard and 2 of them police officers.
Do you ever feel throughout your life that, let's say they never got arrested, that you would never even embarked in this journey?
Oh, I think that's most certainly true. I'm sure I would have embarked on other journeys, but I can't even imagine what they were. I mean, this is when you're 14 months old and your parents go to prison. It really does shape and define in many ways the kinds of experiences you have.
What point of time was it for you that you felt that you were fluent in Spanish, or was it a gradual process for you?
It was definitely a gradual process, but there also was a kind of aha moment when I said, now I really have it. And there may be a couple moments like that, but when I first went to Guatemala, I had studied in school. I didn't really speak enough of the language to feel like comfortable when I arrived and have a conversation. By the time I left Guatemala 2 months later, after studying every day and living with a family, I really, I didn't speak fluently, but I didn't care. I would throw myself in. I would talk. I would make conversation with people anywhere I met who spoke Spanish. A year later, and thanks to the support of the Woodbridge Rotary Club right here in this area, I got sent down for my junior year of college to the University of Chile. I can just show you. I brought their. And this is where I spent my entire junior year at the University of Chile.
Okay.